Om Sai Vidmahe Satya Dhimahi Tanna Sarva Prachodayat. Om Sai Vidmahe Satya Dhimahi Tanna Sarva Prachodayat. Om Sai Vidmahe Satyadevaya Dhimahi Tanna Sarva Prachodayat. Offering my humble pranams at the lotus feet of our most merciful Mother Sai, whose grace has been with us in every moment of our lives. Just the mere fact of coming in contact with Him, to be taken into that umbrella of a Sai family, is Purva Janma Punya that we have done to deserve that. And we are fortunate with Swami's grace to have this satsang where he brings his students, his gems, everyone a chosen one to be part of his educational institution, where education is not just a process of obtaining a paper degree, but is a self transformation process that gets initiated through camaraderie, discipline, love, guidance, and every week listening to the stories and the journey of his students are inspiring, for the fact that it helps us realize how blessed we are to know Sai when he walked the earth, where he continues to inspire us through his message that comes to us week after week in this satsang. And grateful to a few who bring wonderful speakers week after week. And today is one such person who is not new to us, who is going to take the honors of introducing the speaker for today. Over to you, Brother Pawan.
Om Shri Sai Ram, offering my most humble pranams at Bhagwan's lotus feet. Yet another opportunity Swami has given us today to go back to the memories and think about him, and through yet another gem, Swami student who had been with me in Vrindavan. His name is Mr. Jayaram. He had been in Vrindavan campus from 94 to 97 doing his B.Sc honors, and later part he went and did his MSc and also MTech at Swami's colleges. Post his MTech, he pursued his PhD also in various mathematics and science fields. I know Mr. Jairam right from my college days. Very, very enthusiastic person. We used to call him nicknames, of course, with his permission. His nickname is Jantu, we call him, being a Jairam. And he also elite member of a band group. He plays trumpet and he still continues to play trumpet. So whenever we have these January 1st alumni meets, Jairam comes down from all the way from Chennai to participate in alumni meet, in the music programs, as well as the band programs. Mr. Jairam, what we have seen him in the hostel days is a lot of bubbling, enthusiastic kind of a character, I should say, always on his toes, always something eager to learn or express his feelings, express his emotions in front of anybody without any fear. And he has got a very, very generous heart, I should say. When I was in Vrindavan after finishing my BCom honors, and later on after finishing my PG, I was waiting for Swami's instructions to go for what should I do. Then Swami said, you go out and do some job. Then I was clueless how to start the career. So Mr. Jentu, who was Jairam, who was in category that time, he has given his accommodation for me also to stay along with him close to 6 months. Our journey was there in Vrindavan, you know, without paying a single rupee from my pocket. He has accommodated me for 6 months. So that is a love for his fellow brothers, and he still continues to love all our group. And he's very, very enthusiastic in sports. and he plays wonderful TT in our college days. And he has been ball badminton sport also he has taken up in our hostel days. And I should say that Jairam overall has seen a lot of challenges and difficulties in his life. I have known him very personally. A lot of troubles he has gone through. I'm sure today he has a lot of things to share with us. And those struggles and those memories, how Swami has helped him as a guiding factor without never ever leaving his hand throughout his journey and until today. So, with no other further delay, I would request Jairam to uh, give his wonderful experiences in three parts. One is how did he come to Swami, what made him come, and second part is what was his experience, right from BSc until MTech. How was his journey and what was his experiences? What did he learn over there? And third part is how is he now doing it? How is Swami helping him or guiding him in his both his family as well as in professional careers? With these words, I hand over to my brother Jairam. Jairam.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Pawan and Brother Venkatraman. Um, it has been a great privilege for me to actually be in this satsang. I was not aware of it until 4 or 5 weeks back, when some of our brothers used to share their stories over here. And that is when Pawan told me that this series we are trying to bring in a lot of our classmates to speak over here and then compile a huge video of that. So it is a great privilege to be here. Um, Let me start by saying about what exactly I have to put bits and pieces of my life together. It's slowly coming through. So eventually, when I look back, uh, what I see is a classical story, thing that Swami keeps repeating in many of his discourses. He has told us many times. A lot of students are there to whom Swami has never spoken. He has never spoken to them physically. So those are the boys who sometimes, they feel very sad, they feel depressed. Why is Swami not speaking to me? And there are few people who are fortunate enough where Swami speaks to them. So Swami generally tells us in his discourses, saying, "It's okay. Don't worry that I am not speaking with you or speaking to you physically, but I know very well that you are there, and I know what exactly you are doing at every point of time." So I'm literally, you can call it as a very classical example of that part. Those kind of the category of students where Swami has never spoken. Maybe you can probably count in your 5 fingers how many times he has spoken to me in my entire stay over there in Prashantam. So let me start right from the beginning. Okay. I lost my mother and father at a very early age when I was a 3-month old baby. So I was actually born and brought up with my grandparents and my maternal uncle. I have two maternal uncles. One is the elder one and one is the younger one. So I grew up with my younger maternal uncle. And this was narrated to be my elder uncle. So I was living for a few months with my elder uncle in Uti. Okay, so he wanted to admit me in the Uti school, Swami school in Uti at that point of time. And it seems that I secured the admission, but eventually, when my grandmother, and my uncle went and met the warden or the principal over there, she told them that they have to leave me in the hostel, and I will be growing up in the hostel. But my grandmother was very possessive about me because she did not want to leave me since my mother was not there. So she immediately refused, saying, "No, no, I'm not going to leave him in the hostel. He has to grow up with me. I have to see him through." So that was probably the first encounter that I had with the Sathya Sai institutions. And I should have probably joined, but it did not happen. I came to know only later after I joined Eugene Brindavan. Until that point of time, I did not even know that I had an opportunity to be in the school. So, okay, fine. After that, my life went on. I studied in a school in OT, and it was a long journey over there. I did not know anything about Swami until I came to 11th standard. There was one picture of Swami in the puja room, and my grandmother used to tell me that this is Puttaparthi Baba, this is Shirdi Baba, no, all the gods that are there. So we used to just pray, and that was all that was there. I did not know much about him until I came to 11th standard. In my 11th standard, we had shifted houses, and we had gone to from Kunnur, which is a town. We went to a village called Arvankadu, and Arvankadu is popular because there is a factory over there. It's a government factory which manufactures gunpowder. Okay, so it manufactures gunpowder, and there are a lot of people, a lot of employees who go there. So we shifted. My uncle was working in that factory, so we shifted to the government quarters which was there. So because of that, what happened was there are a lot of devotees. There was a samiti over there, and quite a few devotees were there who were working in the factory. So in that process, my uncle contacted some of them, and somehow he went and attended some bhajans, and over a month or so he felt that yes, it's time that I also start attending bhajans and come into the Sai family. So that is how I got introduced to Bhagwan at that point of time. So I used to go attend bhajans. We used to have bhajans at several devotees' homes, and every Thursday we will have bhajans in the Samiti. And there was no Samiti hall or building as such in the village. There was one Ganesha temple that used to be our Samiti bhajan point. Okay, so we'll go to the temple, we'll perform bhajans over there. That is where all the Samiti members will meet. Of course, we will meet every day in different houses where we go and perform bhajans. But Thursday was our Samiti common Samiti bhajans. So we'll have some devotees who are not, some people who are not devotees, but they will still come and sit down for bhajans. We used to perform bhajans in the temple. So that is how I got introduced to, or how I was drawn towards Swami. That is how I can call it. And you see, there were several circumstances where it was not possible for me. I had it in my mind, it is not possible for me to continue further after 12 because of want of money or financial situation. Even in my school, after my uncle got married, things became a little bit difficult to manage, especially the finance. So somehow my grandfather talked to the school principal at that point of time, and then we got a scholarship through the alumni. So all my schooling from 8th to 12th was throughout from the alumni scholarship. So there was a point of time in my mind that was running behind my, I was wondering, how am I going to study college, because it's going to be a bit expensive if you study anywhere outside. So we did not know what to do. I had no idea what to do. And when I was in 12th, between 11th and 12th, during the summer vacations, one of our senior brothers, his name is Murali Krishna. Okay, he was 2 years senior to me at that point of time. He was studying in Prashantinya, 3 years senior. When I joined UG first year, he was doing his first year MBA, Murali Krishna. So he was also from Arvankadu. Okay, so he had come down for summer vacations, and somehow the people come to know that Sai student has come. So everyone, we wanted him to come for bhajans, and then he came, he introduced, and that is when I knew that there was a school, there was an institution, there was a college where Swami was giving free education for people. And uh, I do not know what went through my mind, but it was a strong point of attraction that just, it was like a magnet. It was just like a magnet. How you get drawn towards things. It stuck in my mind. That was when I started intensely praying, very intensive prayer. Okay, somehow I have to get a seat there. I have to study in Swami's college for whatever reason. So Swami has different ways of pulling people to himself. For some people it is Swami whom you have to be there. For some people, for some other reasons, many reasons are there. So this is one of the reasons how he had to, draw me towards him. And uh, I started praying very intensely, whether we had bhajans or wherever I go, somehow that prayer was constant, despite all the studies that you have. And I was not a very top grade student or something. I was an above average student. So after my 12th, we had our entrance. So I made an application and got my admit card. You know, you get your admit card in postcards those days. So it was a big thing to get the postcard. If you get the postcard, you have literally passed the first step towards admission. So that was how it was. You know, enthusiastic. You write down the application form, and when you write down the application form, that you look at days, you look at good auspicious hours or time, and then you say sit fill down the form and you submit the form. And when you get your admit card, you're more than happy. Okay, I am at least having a chance. I get a chance to go and write the entrance examination over there. So we came for the entrance examination, myself and my uncle, and we stayed in the west uh, uh, accommodation, which was there, just 2 blocks away from the mandir, 2 blocks away from the Purnachandra auditorium. It was the second one, I believe. It's in the top floor. I still remember that it was a very small room. We had two mats, two pillows. That is all that was there. And there was a thread or a rope that was going around across the room where you could dry your clothes. So we managed to find an accommodation over there. It was summer. Swami was not there. Obviously, he was in Brindavan. So we were staying over there, and we went there 2 days earlier before the entrance. So for the 2 days, my uncle was insisting, okay, you have to sit and prepare for your examination. I was more than like, let us see if I can do something over here. We'll go attend Suprabhadam, we'll go attend bhajans, we'll do something. That I wanted to basically pray more than study. But my uncle was insisting, you have to study also. So do both. We will, whenever it is time to pray, we will pray. When it's time to study, you have to sit and study. So, okay, fine, I agree that I will do that. So we used to do whatever we can during the daytime, and post 7 o'clock after dinner, it was time to actually study. And you know, we all of you are aware that in Mandir by 9 o'clock, I think we'll have to switch off all the lights in the room. So you cannot study beyond 9 o'clock in the room. So what I used to do was, in the pretext of studying, I will go sit in the corridor or the steps which are there, because lights will be on and in the corridors. So I'll go sit over there, and I will. In the pretext of studying, I actually take out my book, open the last page, and I will keep writing Sairam. That was all I used to, nothing else. So basically, I was only praying. I did not know what to study, because whatever I had studied, I had this one thing in my mind. Uh, I'm not sure what I'm going to study, because I'm not coming from a CBSE background. I'm coming from a state board background. There are a lot of students who are coming from a CBSE background. So there are several topics which are given. I know what I know. If I don't know something, this is not the time to actually try and learn those things. So it is okay that I go and attempt the entrance with whatever I know. Let me see what happens, because I have to rely mostly on prayer than my own skills or brains. So I just left it to Swami at that. So start writing Likita Jabam. Om Sri Sai Ram, whole night from 9 o'clock till 11:30. I'll keep doing this. For 2 days, I kept doing this. On the third day, we went for the entrance. The entrance examinations were over. We came back, and on the way back, my uncle asked me only one question. So, did you write well? I said, yeah, I wrote whatever I knew, I wrote. It seems to be pretty okay for me. I'm not sure, but let us wait and see. That is what I said. And then he said, okay, so let us see how your prayers work. That was what he said. I was a little bit perplexed. So I just looked at him. I asked, why do you say this? And he said, like, I know what you do in the night. I did not know that he was standing right behind me, looking and noticing me right Om Sri Sairam over there. I was always thinking that he was sleeping in the room. So I was doing this. And once in a while, he used to come out and see whether I was actually studying. And I was actually doing Likita Jabam over there. So he did not say anything. He just went back and quietly slept. So he told me, I came out, I saw that you are writing, instead of studying, you are writing Likita Jabam. But it's okay. Never mind. Let us also leave it to Swami and see what happens. So somehow the results came. I was through with the entrance, and the interview was also over. And that night, when the interview was over, my uncle was insisting that we leave, because he did not have much vacations left after that. So we thought, okay, but I insisted that, okay, we will stay for a few more days until the results come. They said that the results will be published in 2 days. So I wanted to stay for 2 more days, see what the results were, and then go home. Uh, Despite being reluctant, he agreed to that, and we were staying there. On that day night, I got a dream. I got a dream where Swami came directly and he said, I have selected you and your name is the 32nd name. That is all. He just gave me the number 32. And that was it. The dream was over. Probably it was around 4:30 or 5 o'clock in the morning. I got up immediately. As soon as the dream was over, I got up and it was dark. So I did not know what to do. I just stepped back. All right. Uh, Let me go off track a little bit over here. When I began, I told you that Swami has not interacted with me physically. You can probably count in your hands how many times he has interacted with me. But I have had so many dreams where Swami has come and interacted with me in the dream. That was even before I joined the institution. So in 11th standard and 12th standard, so many dreams. At that point, I thought that, okay, Swami has just come and interacted with me in the dream. I did not know how much I should believe in that or whether it is true. Maybe it is my own subconscious mind that is thinking like that. No, those are the things that I just ignored. I did not worry about it much. I did not take it too seriously until at this point of time. So when Swami came and told me that you are selected and your name is the 32nd name, I did not know what to do, but I just kept that in the back of my mind. When we got up for Suprabhadam, I told my uncle that Swami came in the dream and he said, you are selected. He has selected me and he told me that my name is the 32nd name. So that was the end of the conversation. My uncle said, okay, let us see. And we went for bhajans. We waited for the results that day. The next day morning at around 10 o'clock, the results were published. And there was a board near the accommodation office where the result was pasted. So a lot of us were eagerly waiting over there. I can remember many of my classmates were there. Now, okay, at that point of that time, we did not know who was who, but a lot of people were there. Everyone was checking. As soon as I went close, the first thing that I did was look at 32. So I saw two lists. There were two lists. The first one was the list of students who were selected in the Prashantiniliki campus, PSN. Okay, there are only 30 students who are mentioned. Okay, so there was no number 32. I skipped that part. I came to Brindavan. There was Brindavan campus. I straight went down to 32. My name was not there. So I thought, okay, maybe I'm not selected or anything. I felt a little bit sad. I came out. And I went to my uncle and I told him, like, my name is not there. He said, did you check the whole list? I told, no, I did not check the whole list. Like Swami said 32, I just went and saw there was one list, only 30 students were there. So there is no question of 32 over there. The other list had around 56 or 60 students, 56 students. And I again looked at 32, my name was still not there. So I think I'm not there. He said, no, don't be like that. You just check. You check all the entire list once, and then you decide what it is. So I just let the crowd move away. And when it became a little bit free, I went back. So I started scanning right from the beginning. So first 30 names, my name was not there. When I started checking the Brindavan list, the second name was my list. My name was listed in the second. So 30 plus 2, then things added up, 30 plus 2 is 32. That is the second name. Right there. So it was not a fake dream or anything. Swami just came and told me the number directly. It was just that I did not look it in the right way. So that was probably one thing that told me that, okay, dreams are not they're not fake or not just my imagination. They are true. It is true. So Swami is talking to me in some way through my maybe subconscious mind or whatever it is. He's just talking to me in some way. So I kept that in mind. Very happy. We came back. I joined the university, and I remember first try session, very first try session in my life. So we went inside tribunal. We had I could not sit in the front at that point of time, so we were sitting in the center hall. And when Swami finished the session and he was going back, I was fortunate to sit on the end of the, right in the middle where Swami was walking, the corner seat, you call it, right? So I was sitting over there. And when I just got up and knelt, and I said, Swami, I just did this to Swami. So he just patted on my cheek and so I told you 32, and he went. He just said, I told you 32, and he went. And that was like, oh, okay. fine. I was very happy at that point because I did not know. That was the first interaction that I had with Swami. Nothing more than that. So I felt very happy. As soon as I came off, I told my uncle, my entire family, they were all there. So I told him this is what Swami told me, and he was very happy. So things went by. First year was a boon because at that point of time, Mandir was under construction. Sai Govind Hall in Prashantini was under construction. So Swami was spending almost 6 or 7 months in Brindavan, and every day, 3 sessions were there, and each and every day was a different day. Each and every day was different. Every day you can see Swami, you can interact with him, you can sometimes some days you can sit close enough, so close that he keeps his feet on your laps, and sometimes even his hands are on your head when he's standing up and talking. Those were the moments when uh, you cannot express them in words. They are just there. They are feelings. They are experiences and very happy moments over there. Okay, so somehow, I do not know. I don't have much of a courage to speak up to Swami or to ask him something or say something. I did not have that much courage. So I just look at him, smile. Those are the only things that I do mostly. And one fine day, um, it was Gokulashtami was nearing now. So in the room, like Pawan said, I am more of an enthusiastic guy who talks to everyone. I have no hard feelings or anything. I just move along with I am in the moment at that point of time. So if I was playing TT in the room, okay, we were playing TT in the room, and it was getting a little bit loud actually. A lot of devotees were there. Swami was also there. And one boy comes up to me and says, "Who's Jayaram over here?" So I just turn around and I say, "I am Jayaram." So it says, "Sanjay Sani sir is calling for you." I'm a little bit scared because I am playing TT over here. Maybe my voice got down all the way to the first floor. He heard me. Is it that because he's calling me, or what? Why is he suddenly calling? Because I'm not a very popular guy over here. So why is he calling me all of a sudden? So I went down with a lot of things that are running in my mind. And as soon as I meet him, the first question he asked me is, "You are Jairam?" "Yes, sir." "How familiar are you with cows?" He asked me, "How familiar are you with cows?" I have never been near animals. The last time I was near an animal was when way back in my third standard or fourth standard when we had our own dog. After that, any animal I see, I am running away from it. I will never be near that. I do not know why. But he asked me, "How familiar are you with cows?" I told, "Sir, I have never been near a cow. I don't even know what should I do when I'm near a cow. So I'm not very familiar." That is okay, but you'll have to start getting familiarized with being near a cow, because your name has somehow come up in you are going to be a cowboy. So I was like, "What do you mean by saying, what is this cowboy? We have only heard of cowboys in the Western movies. So what is this new concept called cowboy in Sathya Institute?" So I did not know what exactly it was. So he told me that, "See, Gokulashtami is coming, Swami is here. So what we do is, there are a lot of cows in the Gokulam. So we assign or we pick up students who will take each cow, and the cows will come and stand in a row. Swami will come, feed the cows and bless the cows." Okay, so it is going to be a small event that will occur on Gokulashtami. So for that reason, we need some boys who will be with the cows. So you are one of the boys who has been selected. Fortunately, I had two other of my classmates who are also cowboys, and one of them is Pawan, who is sitting right over here. He is there. He was also one of the cowboys, and both of us, along with one more brother, Suresh Balaji, we were supposed to take care of one particular cow, and the name of the cow was Sai Lakshmi. Okay, and
I was about to ask you, do you remember the name?
Sai Lakshmi, yes, I certainly
Yes.
remember. And let me actually show you a picture that I have. This was the picture taken on Gokulashtami. You can see that, sorry, Pawan is here, I am there, and that is Suresh Balaji. So Sai Lakshmi is the cow. Okay, so this is the picture we had on that day. And one more brother was there. He was our senior. I do not know his name. but he was 3 years senior to us. He was studying in his third year in BCom. Okay, so this was the picture taken on Gokulashtami. So what was happening is, for 1 week we were supposed to train with the cow. So we are supposed to go to Gokulam, pick the cow and take it for a walk around trail. And of course, we do not know whether Swami is actually watching us from there or not. But the general assumption, a safe assumption, is Swami is watching us. So let us be very careful. That is what it was. So we used to go around, and Pawan and Suresh Balaji were with the front. So they were holding the cow from the front. And there was a long thread, that was a rope that was given to me. I had to hold that rope and I was behind. And there were several cows which were not behaving very calm. Okay, there was some cows were running here and there. So those were the boys who had a very tough time. Fortunately, our cow was pregnant, so it was not running here and there. It was a calm cow. Nevertheless, I was having a tough time behind, just for one reason. The tail of the cow, it keeps wagging its tail here and there. So the tail of the cow used to come and hit me. It was like a whiplash. Every time it comes and hit me, it was a whiplash. So standing next to the cow, close to the cow, was a difficulty for me. So what I used to do is, I used to stand a little bit far away, so that, basically the cow was trying to, it was feeling some itching on the back. So it uses its tail to, uh, you can call it scratch itself. You can't, it doesn't have claws, so it uses its tail in some way. So if you go closer to the cow, the tail was actually going around you, and since the length is not sufficient, the tip of the tail was actually hitting me on my arms, in my shoulder, sometimes in my face over here. All sorts of things were happening. So I used to keep going away from the cow. One day over, 2 days over, and we had a Gopi sir who was noting all this that was going on. So the third day, when I was going away from the cow, he called me out from there and said, "Go close, don't stand so far from the cow." I told him, "Sir, its tail is whipping me. You should bear with it. If you are going to go on like this way, then I will remove you from this team. I will replace you and I will put someone else." Oh, no, I do not want to miss this opportunity. So I used to pray to Swami and say, "Swami, this cow is thrashing me left and right. I do not know what to do, but somehow I have to stay next to it." So I stood near the cow, and it was really painful, because every time the tail comes and hits you, it was like on whiplash, and it was paining. It was paining. And what happened from that day onwards is, every night, literally, Swami used to come in my dream, and he used to press my hands. He used to press my hands over here. He used to do this in my, he used to do this on my cheeks. He used to press my hands. He used to say, "Don't worry." It was literally like Swami was, curing away the pain that I had because of these cows, the tail of the cow. And I used to go back the next day more enthusiastic, because Swami was coming in my dream and doing this. And we used to go back to the cow, and 1 week went ahead. This incident happened. We all felt very happy. And of course, there was a big relief also, because after that, I don't have to go near the cow and get this whiplash. It was one nice experience. For that one full week, Swami was literally there with me every night. Every night in my dream, he will come, he will press my hands, he will say, "Don't worry, this will be over, this will be over, don't worry, this will be over." And then he used to go back. So those was nice memories that we had. And one such memory was, those every day we used to have a try session every day. At some point, what happened was, I had so much of loss of sleep. There was a loss of sleep. See, for me, right from my young childhood days, I require some at least 7 to 8 hours of sleep. If I do not have that much of sleep, then I used to have a lot of headache. I'll fall sick, so on and so forth. Okay, so I had health problems in that sense. So what happened over here was, we had to get up for Suprabhatam every day at 5 o'clock. We were sleeping by 10 o'clock. So the amount of sleep I usually get is not more than 7 hours. And then there was darshan. You can't sleep in the afternoon because you're going to classes. There was no time to relax. There was nothing. So one fine day, I decided, like, uh, it was a free afternoon. There were no classes. So I decided like, okay, I am not going to college that day in the afternoon. I'm going to sleep. I'm just going to have lunch, come down, take a lot of rest. And I was not sure whether I'm going to get up and even go for darshan. It became so much that I thought, okay, let me skip darshan that day. It became like that. So I slept. And in the sleep, I was just, Swami was suddenly appeared in my dream and he was running towards me. He was running towards me and he was gesturing to me saying, run and come towards me quickly. So on the way, when Swami was running towards me, he was waving his hands. He was waving his hands and with his left hand, he was saying, come quickly, come quickly. So I also ran towards him. As soon as I met, both of us met at a very close distance, Swami materialized Vibhuti, he put it in my hands. As soon as I took my Vibhuti, my classmate woke me up. He just woke me up. I got up from the dream. It was around 3:30. Okay. The reason why he woke me up was it was time for darshan. He saw me sleeping. He said, okay, we have to wake him up because we are going to go for darshan. So he woke me up. I got up and I was, in one sense, I was happy that Swami came to my dream. The other way, I was a little bit uh, infuriated seeing that this fellow woke me up from a dream. And I did not know what to do. I did not know how to react. So I just got up. I washed my face, went for a bath, washed my face, and we went for darshan. We went for darshan. Over. We were sitting again. I could not go, sit in the near the Jula in Trai. We were sitting in the center hall, the round hall, and I was sitting somewhere, I believe, in the second row. And after the Trai session was over, Swami was going back, and I think on that day I had one clove in my pocket. I had one clove in my pocket, and I took out the clove. I just cleaned it up and I held it in my palm. And when Swami went by, I showed it to him, and he looked at the clove. He took it. He put it into his mouth. He patted me on my cheek and said, "Good boy. Now you know why I asked you to run and come." He said that, and he went past. That is when I realized Swami knew that that brother was going to come and wake me up. So he was in a hurry to give me vibhuti in the dream. And if he was going to walk towards me, and if I were to walk towards him, it's going to take a lot of time because he's going to wake me up somehow. So in that sense, Swami was literally running and he was making me also run towards him. So somehow, you have to put 2 plus 2 and make it as 4. So that is what I gathered. And when Swami said, now you know why I asked you to run, that is when I gathered that, okay, fine. So you wanted to give me vibhuti on that day. That is the reason why you hurried me up, because you knew that he was going to come and wake me up. So this was one of the experiences that I had. And after that, not many experiences as such with Swami, or not many dreams that came along. Post graduation, I joined the band. I was very fortunate to join the band, and the only advantage that you have with the band is uh, you play in front of Swami, you perform in front of Swami, and the only reason why you want to perform in front of Swami is to see him happy. That was the only motto that we had in the band. Whenever we practiced, all the time, we have that as our focus, nothing else. So you given your heart and soul into those few pieces that you are going to play in front of Swami, whether it is New Year, or it is Christmas program, or it is birthday program. Even if you're going to play the national anthem, we put in that heart and soul, try to uh, do whatever we can to practice much better, so that we will be able to play it and make Swami happy. Okay. So there was one time when we practiced a lot. Every day we used to practice from around 7:30, and it used to go up to 10 o'clock in the night. So there were no study hours for us once we start band practice. But we used to put in a lot of effort during the practice. Okay, so many things used to go on. And this one particular time during practice session, uh, we somehow happened to play this one particular piece, almost perfectly, close to perfection. Okay, I would not call it perfect. We can never be perfect. So it was very close to perfection. And all of in the band, including the band leader and Mr. Paul, who was teaching us at that point of time, and I believe Mr. Maynard Ferguson was also there. He had visited us, and even he was, he was very surprised to see that we had actually played it uh, close to perfection, close to perfection. So we were very happy at that point of time, and we went the next day a little bit confident, saying, okay, we can probably play it really nicely in front of Swami, and Swami will be very happy. Okay. And when we started playing that piece in Mandir, see the thing over here is, when you are playing in a room or in the institute, the acoustics, the environment, the weather, everything is different. You are standing outside and playing. But once you go to Mandir, entire thing changes. You are no more in the same time, because here you are playing in the night. You're energetic. You have just had food. You don't have any pressure. The instruments are warm because of the day, and so on and so forth. But once you come to Mandir, it is morning time. It is in a closed environment because it is a cyclone fall. The acoustics are completely different. You are right in front of Swami, so there is an added pressure. So many things are there, and your instruments are cold because it's kept overnight. It's no more the warm instrument. So the entire situation, the scenario changes once you go to India. Okay, so that makes it a little bit difficult. We have to adjust. So many things are here. When we started playing this piece, nothing fell into place. Nothing. It was a massacre. The entire piece was a massacre. Okay, we finished. We did not know what to say to each other, other than just looking at each other, and yeah, it's over. That's it. The debacle is over. That is what you can call it. Okay. So it was very bad. Actually, it was very bad. We felt very bad. But what happened after that was, if the program was over, when we went back, the band leader comes to us and says, Swami was very happy with that piece. We did not know. We knew that we did not play it very well. We knew, heart of hearts, we knew that we did not play it very well. But how can Swami be happy? So he said, like, that is not the case how you play it in Mandir, but how much of effort you have put in to practice so that you can play it in front of Swami. So Swami is not looking at what you do during the performance, but what leads to the performance, how you have put in the efforts, what efforts you have put in that leads to the performance. That matters a lot more to us. So that was the first lesson that I learned after, it doesn't matter what you do, how it comes out is a completely different thing. But what matters is what kind of effort you have put in order to do that job. So if you do it very well, if you do it correctly, and if you do it from your heart with a lot of effort and honesty, sure, Swami will be very happy. And it will, of course, if Swami is happy, everyone else is happy. So that is what we need to actually, that was the first lesson that actually I learned after a long time. That was one of the experience that I had in the university. Uh, After that, in 2001, I graduated. I left. I came down. I worked in an IT industry for 2 years, and I was not very happy with my work environment and what I was doing in the work. And that is when I met Pawan, because he was also in the same situation where he was seeking a job. So myself, Pawan, and one more brother, Amitabh Chaudhary, all of us were staying in Beltur. So my office is in MG Road. So we used to travel by bus early morning at around 7 or 7:10. That bus leaves Beltur. It goes all the way to Majestic, but we will get down next to our office. And Amitabh Chaudhary also worked somewhere in and around the MG Road. And Pawan's office was also, he was in the training as a trainee. So he was also, his office was also in MG Road. So all three of us used to take that bus, go down to MG Road, finish our work, and somehow we will try to see if we can come back together. If we are not able to come back together, each of us will come back in his own different times to the room. And that night, there will ensue a lot of discussion on what happened at work. Of course, I will not be able to share my work with them because I was working in a completely different field. Both of them were bankers, so they will discuss their own terminology. But one discussion that always kept happening with them was, what is that called, Pawan? There was a technical term. You guys,
Derivatives.
derivatives. Yes, derivatives. So these people used to keep discussing derivatives a lot. So I used to keep hearing that. I did not understand head or tail, but over a period of time, understood what exactly these people are talking and what they wanted to do in their lives. So we had our own moments over there. So after that, I had an opportunity to go abroad for doing a PhD, and 1.5 years, 1 year down the line, while I was doing my PhD over there, I ended up becoming a diabetic. So it was very difficult for me to manage with the amount of funding that I was receiving from there, and also, visit the doctor and get a medication. So eventually, I had to discontinue all my work over there and come back, because my professor over there told me, please go back, because it is going to get very difficult. So he sent me back, and I had to come back. And after I came back, uh, it took me, I did not know what I was supposed to do, because I left the IT industry. I was doing my research. So now I was at actually a crossroads. Should I go back to the industry, or should I change my career? What should I do? Where should I go? There was one small period of my time in a period of time in my life where I really did not know what to do. And it was a long period. It was close to 8 months without any job, nothing to do. So I was just waiting for some guidance, something. I did not know exactly what to do. And at that point, uh, through my relatives, they had one professor. There was one professor who was known to them in IISc Bangalore. He was in the physics department. He was nowhere related to IT or computer science. So he was in the physics department. So I sent an email with my resume to that professor over there, and he said, okay, I don't know anything in computer science, so you are not a computer science, you're not a physics student, so I will not be able to help you in any way. But however, I will forward your resume to one of the professors who are there. We will see what can be done from him. So he sent my CV to one Professor Nasimurthy. He's in the computer science department. Incidentally, Professor Nasimurthy is also a devotee of Bhagwan. So one fine day, I was in Bangalore at that point. I get a phone call, and he says, am I speaking to Jayaram? I said, yes, I know who's speaking. This is Professor Nasimurthy from IIC Bangalore. I just saw your CV. Is it possible for you to come down to meet me in the institute? I was staying in Malleshwaram at that point of time, and Malleshwaram is very close to IISc. So I said, yes, sir, I'll be able to come there in half an hour because I'm staying in Malleshwaram. So I immediately went. In another half an hour, I went and met him. The first thing that he told me was, he was telling me, generally, my habit is to throw away CVs into the dustbin because I get so many resumes. I simply take them and throw it. I don't even look at them. When I took up the resume, I already threw it into the dustbin, but before I threw it into the dustbin, Sathya Institute of Higher Learning was highlighted over there. So I took it back from the dustbin and I read through your resume. I saw that you are from Sathya Institute, and immediately he said, I wanted to see how I can help you. That is why I am calling you. So somewhere from behind, some Swami's hand is there all through your life. No matter what you do, his hand is always there. He's always guiding you. He's helping you. Those 8 months were a difficult period, but somehow he found some way to help me. So I talked to him, and then he guided me. He told me, do this, do that, and finally he said, See, if you want, if going into the IT industry is going to be a tough job for you because you have shifted from there and you have come into the research field. So going back over there is going to be difficult. So what do you want to do? I told, no, sir, I want to pursue research. I want to pursue research and I want to know what I want to do after that. I have to find out. So he said, like, it is best if you can start teaching somewhere. And if you teach, probably you will be able to do research. And over a period of time, you can find out what is your area where you specialize, and then you can. So he guided me in some sense. So as soon as I left his office, the one thing that was running in my mind was I have to find. He told me the one thing that first find a job because you need to start earning money. You need to find a job immediately and try to see if you can join some college where you can find a teaching position. And from there, you can pick up. And any help you need, I am there. So you can just call me up. I'll help you in whichever way I can. So as soon as I came out, the one thing that was running in my mind was, okay, I have to find a job. I have to find a job. And when you go and attend an interview or you want to go and ask for a job to any company or any institution, you don't go in any normal attire. So you have to dress very properly. You should be in formals. But something from inside, there was a force, a very strong force. There was a very strong uh, power that was telling me. The first my college that came into my mind was Christ College, Bangalore. I do not know why that came to my mind. It just occurred to me. I don't even know where this college exists, where it is located, nothing about that. But it was the first name that struck my mind. And I had a printed copy of my resume on the desk over there. And I did not have any formals. So I just wore some casuals, corduroy jean, and some kind of a shirt, which is only a half sleeve. I took an auto, went directly to the college. You don't go and get to meet the principal directly. But what I did was, I went straight to the receptionist. I told him, I want to meet the principal. He was taken aback. Who is this? Who are you? And you come here directly seeking, you want to meet the principal. What is it? I told him, see, I want to see if I can apply for a job. I'm seeking a job, a position as a teaching faculty. Okay, just wait for some time. And then I waited for some time. And after a few minutes, he came and told me there is one person who would like to meet you. He is the one who is actually a recruiter over there. You can meet him. So I went and met him. In 2 days' time, he said you will have an interview and whatever formalities have to be done for the interview, you'll have to prepare and come. So I said, it's okay. And he said, you'll have to give a demo lecture and stuff. I said, okay, fine. I'm ready for anything that you throw at me. So I went back. There was a lot of confidence, something from inside was pushing me, and I had a lot of energy. So I went back to my room. I did not know, I had no preparation whatsoever. I did not know what I'm going to speak. I went without any preparation, no preparation whatsoever. Just went, gave a demo lecture, and things went smooth. And that is where I got the job over there in a matter of 2 hours. As soon as the interview was over, my job was confirmed. I got the job. That is where I met my guide, and I started pursuing my PhD from there. Okay. Now there is a small story that connects to this incident and why I came into this teaching job. So I will take once again. I will take you a little bit off track, and then we will come back into track with one more experience, and then I think I will be done with that. So long in the Samiti that was there in Aronkadu, one particular devotee was there. His name is VSS Sai uncle, and they are long-standing devotees of Bhagwan, Shirdi Baba and Swami. Okay, they are long-standing devotees. Their parents are also devotees of Shirdi Baba. So somewhere in the 1960s, when they visited Shirdi, they bought one particular book from Shirdi. Okay, that book has around 1008. I would not call it sayings. 1008 statements. Okay, words or sentences, which are spoken by Shirdi Baba. Okay, and it is all taken from the Sai Satyarita that is there. That book is not available right now. So we have tried searching for it, and probably that was that the print for that book was stopped long back. Okay, so they have this particular book, and their faith in that book is, anytime they have a doubt or they are having some question, or they are falling in yeah, they are standing at crossroads in their life, they want to make a decision, they just pray to Swami and seek his guidance. Okay, so they just say a number, they open the book, you read whatever is given in that number, they will definitely they get an answer. Okay, this has been their faith throughout. And in my 11th standard, when I was bought when I used to attend bhajans over there, I also came across this book. And the first the auntie who was there, she came to my house one day with that book. They were living very close by, so she wanted to meet my grandmother, so she came to my house, and she had the book in her hand. So she just told, do you want to ask Swami something? So I said, I don't know what to ask auntie. But it was during my 12th standard, so at that point of time my only prayer was to get into Swami's institution. So I said, like, that is my only prayer, I don't have anything else. So I do not know what to ask. So she said, doesn't matter, just say any number that comes to your mind, anything between 1 and 1008. So I just told one number, and what was written there against that number is, why fear when I am here? That was the first statement that came. Okay. So that auntie said, like, this is incredibly nice. And Swami is saying that you put entire faith in him, he will take care of you. Why fear when he is there? So don't worry, you are getting into Swami's institution. So that was the first thing that she told me. And she felt very happy when I got into the institution. No, that book was there. Okay, and the book has a long history. Over a period of time, in almost when close to 2000 and 2001, the book was almost in shatters. So many people are using it, and they are keeping they're turning pages, and it was tattered. Pages were coming off, and they're a little bit torn here and there. And since I believe since 96 or 97, they were trying to seek permission to photocopy that book. And for the past 30 years or so, no, not 30 years, for the past 15, 20 years, Swami never gave permission to photocopy that book. But they were reluctant to photocopy, because the auntie told very clearly that I will photocopy this book if and only if Swami gives permission. Otherwise, I'm not going to photocopy. Luckily, somewhere in 2015, Swami gave permission. Now you can photocopy. So after that, photocopies were made. So I also have one photocopy of that book in my house over here. So that is one thing that book says a lot. Okay. This book has a nice relevance in the story. So let's come back to the mainstream. So before joining the university for work, I went back to my hometown in Aronkadu, and I attended bhajans, because my uncle said, like, just before you go, let us go and attend bhajans. So I went and attended bhajans. At that point of time, there was a small practice that was going on. Post bhajans, what they would do is, VSSI uncle would take out this book, and he would read something that is relevant for that particular day, some saying or something. He used to read something. So after bhajans, he got up and he said, like, since Jayaram is here, I'm going to read this book, and let us assume that whatever Swami is going to say, it is mainly for Jayaram. He just said that, and he started reading. There was only one sentence he read. The sentence was very clear, and it came as a direct instruction for me. Swami said, teach well, and instill character in your students. It was a very direct message. I was, at that point, I had just decided that I'm going to take up teaching. And when Swami says that teach well and instill character in your students, it is a direct order, not even a request. It is a direct order. So till today, that is what I am trying to do, and hopefully I will be able to, make Swami happy, and so that he will think that, okay, whatever order I have given him, he has tried his level best to follow that order. I hope I will be able to live up to his expectations throughout my life. So that is the relevance of this book. And I started teaching over there. I finished my PhD. Uh, One last experience that I had was more recent over here. After marriage, in 2017, my brother-in-law actually passed away from an accident, and he met with an accident in Madurai. Okay, so based on that, there were a lot of court cases that were going on because there was some settlement that was supposed to come for my father-in-law and mother-in-law. So post-pandemic in November 2020, pandemic was not yet over, but it was probably not very not in its peak. It had actually come down a little bit. Nevertheless, we had to go down to Madurai for attending a case. My father-in-law was supposed to be present over there. Unfortunately, he is having some breathing problems. So I decided that I'm not going to expose him to the COVID situation over here. So somehow he was ready to travel by bus or train. So I said, no, you're not going to travel by bus or train. So let me drive you down. No matter what happens, I'm not going to expose you to the situation over here, because it was very difficult with breathing problems and an old age. It's easy for him to catch COVID and it might turn things around. So I did not want to expose him to the pandemic over there. So we drove around, but one condition that I put while we are traveling this, I told him I am not going to stop the vehicle anywhere for tea, coffee, or snacks, or even for food, because I'm not sure why we are going to stop, what is going to be the situation over there. You're going to go and touch so many things. And even today, when he wears a mask, he does not close his nose. He keeps it over here because he cannot breathe. So with such a situation, it is not possible for me to expose him. So I said, I'm not going to stop it. So we packed our breakfast. We had our breakfast over here. We packed lunch. We took some tea, coffee, snacks with us, and we also packed our dinner. And somehow I was, with a lot of hesitancy, we booked a lodging over there in Madurai, and we ensured that the entire place is sanitized and all that, and we were staying over there. We finished our case. The next day we were supposed to come back, and the hearing was over by 12:30 in the afternoon. At around 1 o'clock, we again bought some lunch, packed it, and on the way back also I told my father-in-law, I'm not going to stop anywhere. We are going to go as quickly as possible. We will reach home by, if you start by 1 o'clock, maybe you will reach by say 6:30, 7 o'clock to in Chennai. So I told him I'm not going to stop anywhere. On the way, while I was driving, see, I was driving at around 100 kilometers per hour. It was very fast. But on the way, somewhere down the line, I had a very strong thing from inside telling me, stop for tea, stop for a coffee. It is time you stop for a coffee. This was going on, hitting my head. And at the same time, I was getting a little bit drowsy also, because I did not have proper sleep. I was driving the previous day. So somehow this something was telling me inside, from inside, so please stop for tea, don't drive here after, stop for tea. So I turned around to my father-in-law. I told him, can we stop for a cup of coffee somewhere? He immediately said, yes, please, because I also want to have a cup of coffee, and I have a strong urge in me that I want to have a cup of coffee. Something was telling him also that we have to stop and have a cup of coffee. But at that point of time, in the highway behind my car, there was this brown color Maruti Wagoner that was following it at a very high speed. And they were basically playing around. They were crossing us and then they were going back. They were just playing around. I did not worry about that. I'm not actually trying to compete with him. So, but he was trying to do something. I'm not sure what exactly he was trying to do, but he was doing something. And we stopped for coffee. As soon as I stopped, I noticed that this Maruti Wagoner went past us. So we had a cup of coffee, 5 minutes, 5 or 10 minutes break we took, and I started my car. 5 minutes after I started, 10 minutes down the lane, there was a huge traffic jam. When we went past, I saw that brown color Maruti Wagoner had actually met with an accident. It was a very bad accident, and 4 people were there, and 3 of them had died on the spot. It was a very bad accident. And I was just returning with my father-in-law, who also had lost his son very recently through an accident. So somehow I was consoling him. I told him, don't look at anything. and we drove. Of course, as soon as you see an accident on the road, your speed reduces from 100. It came down to 60. Straight away. It is now I'm driving at 60, 70, and I told him it doesn't matter when we reach, but we are going to go and reach home safely. So I'm not going to drive at any fast speed. So let me go slowly. I took it up around 70 kilometers. We came back at around 9 o'clock. Okay, so when I reached home, my mother-in-law was there at home, and she told that as soon as you come, once you reach home, I will light a lamp in front of Swami over there, and we will pray that you have reached home safely. That is what my mother-in-law. Okay, let me go a little bit off track once again. Uh, one more linking story is there over here. There is one statue in my home, Shirdi Baba statue. It's a very small statue which is there. And every Thursday, we used to perform Abhishekam and perform small puja to that statue. My wife does that, so I will sit near her, and we will perform Abhishekam, sometimes with water, coconut water, vibhuti, honey, sometimes even curd. It depends what we have at that point of time. We will perform Abhishekam with that, and we used to partake of the prasadam. That Shirdi Baba statue has a long story behind it. 7 years back, I had been to my brother-in-law's house, and I bought the statue over there. All right. And that statue was actually blessed in I kept it in my relative's house in Tirupur, where they were actually blessed with a lot of vibhuti in their house. So they had 3 Shirdi Baba statues in their altar. One was oozing out, a lot of vibhuti used to come out from one of the statues. From the second one, a lot of kumkum used to come out. From the third one, a lot of turmeric used to come out from the statue. Okay, and in the hall, they had a huge picture of Shirdi Baba, where lot of vibhuti keeps coming, and the entire room was filled with vibhuti. All right, so I bought this statue from my brother-in-law's shop, and I had kept it for blessing in their house. In 5 minutes, the entire statue was covered in vibhuti. In 5 minutes time. Okay. So in that sense, this statue was actually blessed, and it was given to me. So I bought it back, and I did not have it as it is. So what I did was, I cleaned out the vibhuti, and we started doing Abhishekam. Okay. So this is the story behind how that statue came to my house. Now, why that statue comes into relevance when we reached back from this travel with my father-in-law. So I came back from my Madurai trip, the court trip. We reached around 8:45, 9 o'clock at home, and my mother-in-law went inside. She lit the lamp, and during that process, somehow her hand tapped the statue. It fell down, and the statue broke. Swami's head was, it just broke. Okay. It was a huge sign as to why it has to break over there. Then I realized that something was wrong. Okay, something was wrong. And everyone, all of us were looking at each other, and my mother-in-law said, okay, maybe Swami has actually saved you from an accident, because if I had not stopped for tea at that point of time, probably my car was there right in front of that Maruti Wagoner, waiting to meet that accident. So that was the reason maybe Swami actually urged from within, saying, you stop for tea. And the Maruti Wagoner, which was behind me, was the one actually that met with an accident over there. So I felt that, okay, Swami probably saved me over there. I was still not very, doesn't make much of sense, and it was not very convincing also. So I just kept it in the back of my mind, and I kept quiet. The next day I went to my university. I have this book. I told you about this book, right? I have this book over there. So while I was working, suddenly this struck my mind, and I took out the book, and I have Swami's picture over there. I just told Swami, what happened? Why did the statue break? I am not able to fathom what is going on. Tell me what is going on. So something like that. I just questioned Swami, or told Swami that this has happened. And I said some number, and I opened the book. The book, one sentence, Swami says, I just saved you. I just saved you. That's all, Swami said. Those are the 4 words. I just save you. And it at that point, I did not know what to say. I was literally grateful, happy. Uh, you can see that Swami is working so many things right behind you without saying a single word, without coming in front of you, nothing. He just works from behind, and everything is happening behind the scenes. So if you look at if I have to look back at my life in all these 40-45 years, several stories have happened, and a lot of bits and pieces are there. Okay, but if I have to understand it, these bits and pieces have to be put together, and that is when things make a lot of sense. And I slowly start to realize that, okay, Swami is, he is not talked to me as many times as I would have loved to, but he has been keeping an eye on me. He has been protecting me, and uh, he's been guiding me from within in some way or the other. So I am happy, and I hope that uh, he will be able to guide me throughout my life. And let us see how he blesses me. And I'm ever grateful to Swami for this. That's it. Sairam. I hope I have.
Sairam,
Thank you.
Sairam, Sairam, absolutely. You know, the simplest of things in life, we value them when we actually look back, right? We don't realize what's happening in the euphoria of things. And when you look back and connect the dots, and it just gets absolutely magnificent to 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 just be in that moment, wishing that we could understand with the foresight of why it happened. And that's how your early part of coming into Sai, I mean, the drive could be where can I mean, when you did not have an option to educate, I think you're not the only one. I'm at least privy to a few more in your batch who I know would not have got admission to do anything in science, and they ended up studying science but for Puttaparthi,
That is
but
right.
for Sathya Sai Institute of Higher Learning. I will not reveal
Yes.
who it is because I'll leave it for his satsang to speak on that. But having said that, each one of us, when we get a chance to come into his fold, right from the experience of West Prashanti, where you stayed and you wrote the Likita Jabam, I think there's nothing more powerful than prayer. And then it does not matter of how many interactions, it's about how you connect that little interaction and value the way Swami addresses. I think Swami has his own way. Suresh Balaji is also from our center in Coimbatore, incidentally. So we've seen him grow up, and I do know the difference between the form and the non-form boys, and those quiet boys who are not noticed, but they go through the same experience. So I would say. The entire experience of being a student is a customized experience for that individual, based on the euphoria he needs, based on the calmness he needs, and based on giving him all that is due, because he might not be the same once he leaves the institution either. So we have seen that set of people who might Swami gives whether you want to give back or not. And that's what you have shared today, that it's always a giving when you need it. It is whether we develop gratitude for what we received, and you're just expressing that you're living a life in gratitude for having Swami to guide you. So, absolutely beautiful to hear your journey. Pavan, closing words.
I should say Jairam has revealed the things. It's really giving me goosebumps to me still. Uh, really, how his life, started. Where losing his parents, and how Swami has held his hand and making him like guarding him, protecting him, loving him in his dreams as a direct interaction, like a loving mother. Swami pressing his hands. I have never heard all these things, Jairam. Like, it's really very fortunate, to be associated with you, and very closely, I should say. And I have seen, the kind of a hardships you have gone through it. And I'm very, very happy that, Swami is been there right from your childhood until today. And the kind of experiences you shared is really, really mind-boggling, I should say. And I'm very happy, and I wish and pray many more success and many more happy moments, and as well as bless you, both you and your family, with good health and wealth and prosperity, and always be the happiness be there in your home. And also I would want you to inspire the more and more children, like Swami has given you instruction. You have to inculcate character in those students. I think no better teacher those students would ever got, directly getting instruction from Swami to you, and then you are inculcating those characters in those students in your college currently. It's not easy to tame the young youth mind, and which is a difficult task which you are doing it. And I pray to Swami that you really encourage and bless those youth people in a better society members going forward. With these words, I pray to Swami for once again giving us Jairam for today's talk. If there are any questions from audience, we can take it up. If not, over to you, Venkat.
Yep, I will probably give a moment if anyone has got anything to share. But while you type, so if you have, all I want to tell those who get to see this, those who are alumni, do reach out to us. The sheer fact that why we are doing this, I think Corona gave us an opportunity to stop, pause, and reflect. Purpose of life, purpose of family, purpose of having a meal together, purpose of the fact that tomorrow you're not sure who's going to be with you or without you, and I mean by your side. It also gives us a moment to reflect on the journey that has been, and when you reflect, you only fill your heart with gratitude, and Swami wants us all to have that gratitude, because gratitude sows the seed for love, and love is the source, the path, the goal, right? So I just want every one of you who has got, you can come and say, I have limited experience, and I think that is because you have limited time to think of the moments. I wouldn't say anyone has got anything less than any of the speakers who have spoken today. You understand what I'm saying? Today or over the period. It is whether we pause, reflect, and value or cherish, or just be in awe of how life has progressed. So, my only request, everyone can be a speaker here, because all of us have had our own customized experience. Swami is not a mass retailer who provides you same 42, 40, 38 kind of clothes. Everything is custom stitched to that individual. It's absolutely customized. So please come forward. It's a humble request, because each one, we do not know whose story inspires who. So we have had probably the second person who has missed his PhD then, and who went on to finish. Then there's one more who's probably listening, who is going to go on the same journey, and wishing him the best again. He knows who it is. And all I can say is, when things have to happen, it happens. He knows, whether we have the patience to wait for it to happen. With these words, since I don't see any questions, gratitude to Swami for making this happen today, and absolutely in bliss listening to you, brother, and praying that this series continues, where more and more people come and speak, inspire, or in the in the extreme end, just share, because it's not about inspiring, it's just about hearing. And when we are hearing this, we are with Swami, and everything around us becomes very mundane. And that's my opinion of how these 1.5 hours fly by every Sunday, and Swami makes this happen in his own unique way. With that, we'll finish off with Samastaloka. Thank you, Brother Jairam. Thank you, Pawan, for this wonderful evening. We have our speakers fixed for the next 2 weeks, which is not my usual ending line that I would say I do not know who the speaker is. I actually know who the speaker is. By the time this video gets shared, you will have the invitation for next week. This is Swami's unique way of also getting us prepared and not be waiting for a last moment surprise. So with that, we'll finish off with Samastaloka. समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु, समस्तलोकाः Sukhino bhavantu samastalokaah. Sukhino bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. जय बोलो भगवान श्री सत्य साई बाबा जी की जय। साई राम।